days 5 and 6.
Days 5 and 6.
And the theme is Shake It Out.
Well, it's interesting because the theme of 5 and 6 is really letting go, recognizing worry, not attaching to things that have nothing to do with you, and being conscious of the thoughts that go through your head and, continuing to see beauty. But day 5, the song is Shake It Out. So we're just going to have Shake It Out be the word.
I'm going to let go of my allergies.
I don't know if they're going to let go of you.
My allergies. Before a week ago, I didn't think I had allergies, and now I think I do.
I know, and there's a short story that I used to have allergies until I got pregnant, and they went away. But I would be having allergy attacks, and we'd be in bed, and Todd would take a sheet and flap it at me, so like air and dust
would I do
would
that
go.
on purpose?
You would do it to be funny because I'd be sneezing.
No.
No?
That's not it.
Oh.
I would do it because it's fun to do. It just so happened
that I was having an allergy attack.
Yeah, because you like to make the bed before you go to sleep for some reason.
Yeah, so it's comfy.
No, you don't need it. You don't need to make your bed before you go to sleep. You're about to mess it up.
But you're not, because it needs to be on the bed so you have enough blanket, because if it's half on and half off, then you're cold.
Then you just pull it up.
Like me last night, because it went from 85 degrees to like 20.
We are a minute and a half.
Okay, sorry. All right, so Shake It Out on Friday.
Shake it out.
Shake it out.
Ooh, shake it out.
Okay, so what you're going to focus on today is, like I was already saying, letting go of the little stuff, letting go of petty arguments, sending love to the people who bug you most. Yes, I know that's difficult, but what we really have to realize is that we give our power away to people. And when they bug us and we get triggered by them, and then we carry that around and decide they're a bad person and we get angry, we've totally given our power away. We have decided that other people can affect how we're going to feel. And even though it's human to be affected by other people and to have a response or have an emotional response, it's unnecessary to take on other people's stuff. Like, one of the things today is if someone bothers you or is saying something to you, don't, and I'm putting this in quotes, pick it up. Don't take it. Decide, and this is the practice. This is why Friday and Monday we're going to be doing this, because remember, 2 days for each thing.
So Saturday, Sunday they can take things.
Well, Saturday and Sunday we're going to take a little bit of a breather. You can keep doing all these things. It's not like you have to stop, but obviously we're not going to do.
So the focus
new emails.
Is on Friday and Monday.
The focus is on Friday and Monday. But one thing that you can do this weekend, I'm kind of jumping into this, but this is important, is my friend Elizabeth Shake, who is actually doing this retreat with her mom. She's a personal organizer, and she gave me a good word a while ago that I thought was really helpful. She was talking about how she teaches people to take a day, usually on the weekend, and reboot. Mm-hmm. And what that means is take a day and go to the grocery store, get food, relax. Maybe if you haven't been able to work out, maybe fold some laundry, get organized for the upcoming week. So then you're not going into Monday.
So basically, it's a day of preparation, so you reduce the chaos for the next few days.
Beautiful. It's like rebooting a computer. It's like, okay, we're going to start over, reboot. Let's get as much done as we can, so when we go into the week, I don't have to worry about these things. And I've always really liked that idea, but I liked her word because it reminds me, if I've had, like I always say to you, on Sunday, please don't plan anything. Because sometimes rebooting doesn't mean going to the grocery store. It means doing nothing. Because sometimes you haven't slept and you haven't relaxed, and you need an opportunity to be sitting and to not be going, and to not be on a schedule. That's just as much of rebooting. So this weekend is a reboot.
Okay.
All
right. So let's get back to letting go.
Okay. Where did I leave off?
I want to summarize what you are trying to convey.
Please.
When somebody pisses you off, and says something mean to you, or says something about you,
you're doing a lot of yes.
Just let it go. Just let it go.
Or don't pick it up.
I think of the book, The Four Agreements.
Yes.
And the one of the four is don't take things
personally.
Right. I wonder if we can somehow convey that information to our listeners, that chapter.
Well, I think I can summarize it pretty well.
Okay.
The best thing about that book is Don Miguel Ruiz talks about the fact that we are all watching our own movie.
Right.
So hear me out on this one. Basically, everybody in the world has their own way of viewing the world. So really, there's billions and trillions of different worlds, because we all view the world based on our experience, who we are, what our needs are, what our gender is, whatever's happened to us. That's how we view the world. So everybody's watching their own movie, viewing the world a certain way. And so if we say something that our intention is very clean and clear and positive, but someone who's had a different view of the world hears it and processes it differently based on their experience, they may go after you or say you're a jerk or you're a narcissist or you're this or that. And all of a sudden we start to look at ourselves and say, oh my gosh, that person called me this. This must be what I am. And that's not the truth.
Right.
That's how they perceive you.
Right.
And sorry, the thing that I'm still working on this, people. I don't have this, but we've got to realize we can't please everybody all the time. The most important person that you want to be content with is yourself. And I really do believe in, when I say that, that doesn't mean you get to stomp all over the world and be mean to people. I really do believe contentment, real contentment with ourselves, comes from being a good person,
Right.
whatever that means to you in the moment.
I have a good quote.
Let's hear it.
What other people think of you
It's none of your business.
is none of your business.
Oh, is that the quote?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's it.
That's it.
So I think what you're trying to say is when somebody is mean or somebody has a sharp tongue or somebody says something negatively towards you, it's very easy for us to perceive that, hey, maybe something's wrong with us. Or if not, we have to defend that position and,
Yes.
then get it right back to them.
That's the important thing, the defensive part.
Right. So what's different about what you're saying is you need to give somebody permission to piss you off. It just
Exactly.
doesn't automatically happen.
And, Todd and I use different words because we both perceive the world differently. I see, kind of like you guys have been focusing on words the last couple of days and the energy of words. I don't literally see them, don't get scared, but I see words. Like I feel words. I feel like they are things in the air that hang in the air. They linger. And so when someone is giving me negative words, I have a choice to either pick that up and internalize it, like eat it, or to not pick it up, to just leave it there on the floor or
Right.
leave it there lingering in the room and to breathe and let it go. Again, I'm not always successful at this, but it's a practice. And what I'm asking you guys to do today, which is Friday, and also on Monday, and you can do it over the weekend too, keep practicing, but is to practice not picking it up. And you are going to explain why that can be so hard.
As far as my Eckhart
Yeah,
story,
as far as the ego.
So I don't remember where I heard this or where I read it, but the easiest way for me to explain it is to give it in an example. Say that you're sitting in a conference at work, not in a conference, in a meeting at work, 10 people, and all of a sudden somebody says something negatively towards you or about you. I think our human natural reaction would be to defend that position and then fire back at that person. If you have the patience, the understanding to know that it's not about you and to, as you say, let it go, as hard as that is, because it doesn't mean it's going to be easy.
It doesn't always feel normal.
But if you're able to do that, that is a feeling, a sense of growth. And that is your ego actually shrinking down. So instead of saying, well, I'm just so frustrated, but I'm just going to swallow all this and maybe it'll come out later, just know that there's actually purpose behind not lashing out. And even though in that moment you might feel small, that's actually not such a bad thing. You can actually, once again, it's your ego, for lack of a better term, shrinking.
Well, and the thing is, I think you feel small initially because we have been taught that if you don't fight back, you're weak.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is shift our perspective on that. And when you don't fight back, or when you choose to not go to the defensive place and understand that everyone is watching their own movie, what Todd is saying is you actually are getting bigger. You
You feel your ego is making you say, "Oh, you're so small, you're so weak."
But that's not true.
But that's not. That's what your
old
ego wants you
patterns.
to think.
Exactly. The ego wants to be reignited.
What's actually happening is you're having an understanding and you're having a perspective that you otherwise wouldn't have, and saying, "I'm not going to accept that." Internally, you're saying, "I'm not going to accept your negativity." You can throw it as much as you want, but,
Right, but it's not
it's
mine.
not for me to pick up, to use your
Exactly.
language.
And the important thing about knowing what is strengthening your ego is how will you feel about it later. I always think that's a good indicator, because sometimes in the moment we're like, oh, I'm just mad and I'm going to lash out. It's going to feel so good. But how do you feel about it an hour later?
Right.
Because that's your real telltale of how your heart feels.
Right.
Your head, do you guys know that when you're angry, you actually stop thinking? That when you are angry, you go into like autopilot anger and you aren't rational anymore.
You react.
You react. You're like an animal. So when you are reacting out of anger, you are no longer a rational human being. So this takes some work. This is practice. You have to, one of the things that is focused on today is breathing. When someone triggers you, because you're human, you're going to get triggered, breathe first. Don't react immediately. Breathe and notice. And then the other big part about today is when worry creeps up, because it will. Worry about either something that happened in the past that you just can't let go of, or something that's going to happen in the future. Because really, that's what stress and worry are, past and future.
Right.
Is to recognize it and actually say out loud, there's worry, or hello worry, because if you notice it, you can disconnect from it. It dissipates it.
Well, and to your first point, as far as breathing and all that, I think, and we talk about this on the show quite often, is create some space between stimulus and reacting. Because what we usually do is we just react out of, like you said, we're not thinking, we just react. And that is usually when we end up regretting whatever it is that we're talking about.
Right.
Versus if you're able to create some space, maybe it's 2 seconds, maybe it's 2 minutes. But if we're able to do that, then your day might just go better than you thought.
You're not going to use your energy on things that have nothing to do with you. You're not going to use your energy on negativity, and you're not going to use your energy on making someone else think a certain way about you. You're going to use your energy on feeling confident in your integrity and good.
I'm going to give one more example.
Okay.
Once again, I'm quoting Eckhart a lot, but in
he's primary for today.
In his book, A New Earth, he talks about my soup is cold. So say you're at a restaurant and your soup is cold. There's ways of telling the waiter that your soup is cold without being offended and angry. You can say something that is truthful. Sir, my soup is cold, but that doesn't mean you have to say what kind of restaurant you run in here. I'm never coming back here again. You simply say,
and take offense as if they've somehow slighted you as a person when maybe they had no idea.
Right.
And it's not about you. Everyone gets so offended by everybody else. And the truth is there's a hint of narcissism in there where we think that when something goes wrong, it's because people don't value us.
There are people in my life that look for reasons to be offended.
To be pissed.
And they drive me crazy.
I know.
And I do that from time to time, but I don't think that is my common denominator. It's not like my backdrop emotion. There are people in my life who I'm not going to name who look for reasons to be offended, and I don't. It's such a draining way to go about things.
Well, and here's why a retreat like this is so fun, because a lot of time that's just our autopilot response. It's what we learned when we were a kid. It's what we watched from our parents. It's what we've done. So the only way to shift that is to practice something different.
Right.
That's why you guys are doing a retreat like this. It's not because just because you do it once, all of a sudden it's going to change. You have to practice it. You have to be conscious of it. And the energy of a lot of people doing it at the same time really is helpful because you know that other people are dealing with it too.
Well, and one last thing. In my men's group that I had last night, my co-facilitator talked about how in this men's group there are sometimes where we feel uncomfortable, something doesn't feel normal, and he compared it to learning how to play the guitar for the first time. Like your fingers aren't used to doing what they do, and sometimes they get callous. Like there's certain things like, oh, well, how can this be good for me? My fingers are callous. But sometimes you have to go through something and have a sense of pain, discomfort, whatever the word is,
to make it
grow.
habitual.
You know what I mean?
And to enjoy it and love it and have it connect to your heart. So that's what we're practicing. So again, Friday, which is when you're listening to this, is Shake It Out. And Todd didn't think there was a song called Shake It Out, even though there is one by Florence and the Machine.
Go ahead and play it.
Which is why I even chose the words Shake It Out, which it's this song.
Okay.
Hey. That's the real song.
That's Kathy's opinion. This is mine. I'm not gonna play the whole thing.
That's Shake It Up.
So I think my song is better than yours, but your song is pretty good.
Thanks. We're not shaking it up. We're shaking it out. Shake it up is like getting busy.
Shake it up. Ooh,
so Todd
shake
brought
it
out
up.
the 80s music again. Anyway, that's our that's it, guys. And have a good weekend. We will be back on Monday. You will get your next email from me Sunday night. So you're ready to go on Monday.
Adios.
Adios.